Yo, what's good everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite tournament or GPP plays for this Week 12 NFL DraftKings main slate. I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite game stacks here today, as well as some of my favorite individual plays and stacks. With that being said, let's dive into my spreadsheet here. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do in the top left-hand corner with those highest implied game totals. Now, I did talk about this in my cash plays video yesterday. Make sure you go check that out. But it's not projecting to be a very high-scoring slate this week, and that's kind of been the case for most of this year. However, we do have a few games here that have some shootout potential, and then I got the highest implied team totals listed behind me there. And as always, you can use those as a reference point as I'm going through some of my favorite tournament plays. With that being said, let's dive into this first game stack here that I like between the Chargers and Cardinals. Now, there will be some popular players to target in this game in general, as this game does have the highest implied total at 48.5 on this main slate. However, I think if we stack this game up as a whole, that will allow us to get a little more unique or contrarian with our lineups. So I like stacking up Justin Herbert here with two pass catchers in Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett. I have no problem mixing in Joshua Palmer too, being that Mike Williams is going to be out on Sunday, and then running it back with James Conner and DeAndre Hopkins on the Cardinals side of things. Now, this should be a fast-paced game here as well. Both of these teams currently ranked second and third in projected plays this week, and neither one of these defenses have been very good this year. The Chargers ranked 19th overall in total defensive DVOA and have been particularly bad at stopping the run, ranking 30th overall in rush DVOA, and the Cardinals defense has not been much better, ranking 24th overall in total defensive DVOA. So considering the offensive talent we have in this game, there's definitely some shootout potential. And then another game stack I like here this week is between the Bengals and Titans, and I think this game will fly under the radar a little bit more, allowing us to mix in some chalky plays throughout the rest of our lineup if we want to go that route. Now, I like stacking up Joe Burrow here with T. Higgins and Hayden Hurst on the Cincinnati side of things. Burrow's been great here in his past 5 games, scoring 31 plus DraftKings points in 3 of those 5 games, and the Titans have not been great at stopping the pass this year, allowing the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks and the 3rd most fantasy points to wide receivers. And then run it back with Derrick Henry and maybe even Treylon Burks, considering his price there at $4,200. But I really like Derrick Henry here on the Titans side of things, as Cincinnati ranks 24th overall in explosive run rate. Henry is one of the most explosive running backs in the NFL, so that aligns for him very well in this matchup. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays and stacks here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We got about 2 months left here of the NFL season, including playoffs, but I will have content coming out for you guys to close out this year. All right, now diving into some of these individual plays and stacks here, we're going to kick it off with the quarterbacks, and I got Tua there. I think we can honestly stack up this game as well. You could do a Miami Dolphins onslaught of Tua with Jeff Wilson, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, and then run it back with someone like a Brandon Cooks or a Nico Collins. I like Tua in general here, though, at $6,900, considering how good this matchup is. This Houston defense is one of the worst in the league, and they rank 25th overall in pass DVOA. And look, Tua has been good this year. It certainly helps when you have 2 of the league's best wide receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but he's 7th in fantasy points per dropback, 1st in yards per attempt, 5th in accuracy rating, and 4th in true completion rate. And he's been very good here over the past 3 weeks, scoring 3+ touchdowns in 3 straight games, and no reason to think he can't do that here this week in that great matchup against Houston. Now, moving over here to the running backs, and I did highlight a lot of the value running backs on this main slate in my cash plays video yesterday, so make sure you go check that out. Guys like Jeff Wilson, Rachaad White, Latavius Murray, I'll be sprinkling those into my tournament lineups as well. But outside of James Conner and Derrick Henry, another guy that I want to highlight on the tournament side of things was Isaiah Pacheco of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have the 2nd highest implied team total here on this slate, coming in at 28.75 points, 4+ touchdowns, in a matchup that they should take control of against this Rams team that's pretty beat up right now. Not crazy to think that the Chiefs get out to an early lead in this game and kind of run the clock out a little bit in the second half, and that would be Isaiah Pacheco who kind of takes the lead role there. No Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week. He got put on the IR, and Pacheco has actually seen 15+ carries now in back-to-back games. We then got the wide receivers here, and I highlighted quite a few in those game stacks, so I limited the individual plays price here to just 3 wide receivers, starting with Tyreek Hill there. Name dropped him when I was going through Tua. Probably don't need to say much about Tyreek Hill. He's absolutely dominated this year with a 32% target share, 41% air yard share, while ranking second in deep targets across the NFL. He should have no problem beating up on this Houston secondary, who again ranks 25th overall in pass DVOA. I then got Christian Kirk there, and this Baltimore Ravens secondary has certainly got better as the season has progressed, but Christian Kirk's numbers have definitely been there. 25% target share, 28% of the team's air yards, while ranking 4th in the NFL in red zone targets. And this is a game the Jags are likely trailing and playing from behind, needing to throw the ball a little bit more. If Kirk can get 8+ targets in this game, which he's seen a handful of times this year, I definitely think he can meet value at this price of $6,500. Now, if you do plan to run out a Miami stack here and want to do a little run back on the Houston side of things, I think Brandon Cooks is sitting at a really nice price of $5,200. Now, we do have the quarterback shake up this week. Kyle Allen will be starting, but look, he hasn't started since last year, and if you're going into your first game of this season, why not get the ball to your best player as much as possible? And this Miami defense has not been very good at stopping the pass this season, ranking 29th overall in pass DVOA. I then got a couple of tight ends there for you, and I think it's been a while since we've had Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, and George Kittle all on the same main slate. I won't be surprised if I put both Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews in the same tournament lineup this week, putting one of those guys in the flex spot. You put 2 tight ends in your tournament lineup, that allows you to get a little more contrarian, but you're doing that with 2 guys who have a tremendous ceiling. Andrews has seen a 31% target share this year and should be able to feast against this Jags defense, who ranked dead last in DVOA against tight ends this season. Now, I did highlight a few value tight ends in my cash plays video yesterday, but one guy I left off was Foster Moreau of the Las Vegas Raiders, and I probably shouldn't have, considering the matchup here against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I've mentioned this throughout the year. The Seahawks defense has just progressively gotten better with each and every week, it seems like, but they still rank dead last in PPR points allowed to tight ends this season, which is around 14 points per game. We still don't have Darren Waller here. He's still on the IR, so at $3,400, I do think Moreau is sitting as a nice value play. I then got a few defenses there for you. Dolphins here at $3,900 are expensive, but going up against Kyle Allen, who has only played 6 NFL games since 2020. You got the Jets here, who are a legit good defense. I like them a lot more, though, if Justin Fields misses this week. And then the Chiefs there are the best value play here on this main slate and have a great matchup going against backup quarterback and Wolford for the Rams. Now, in my last tournament video, I kind of switched this last section up from a sub 4K wide receiver play to a low-priced 4K wide receiver play, and I stuck with that here in Week 12 with Jahan Dotson. You know, McLaurin is projected to be the 5th highest owned wide receiver here on this main slate, so I think Jahan here makes for a nice pivot off of that. Now, he did just return from injury 2 games ago, but played 82% of the offensive snaps last week, and although he just saw 2 targets, we know the upside that he has from early on this season. He has a great matchup here as well this week against the Atlanta Falcons, who ranked 28th overall in pass DVOA. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks. Let's win some money on this Week 12 main slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.